Good morning, everybody, and welcome to All About Love, where every Sunday from 11 to 12 we discuss your relationships from couples, family, divorce, and everything in between. I'm Wendy Pegan, your host of All About Love, founder of Creative Relationship Center, where our philosophy is to empower couples and families to become resilient and strong through counseling, coaching, classes, and mediation. We help couples to remain court-free and stress-free. Today we're going to be talking about jealousy and social media that result from all of what's on there on the internet today. And joining me today is going to be Dr. Denise Emmer, psychology professor at Damon College. Good morning, Denise.
Good morning.
And Tim Sobolewski, president of Financial Planning Center.
Hi.
And also joining me is my research team, my lovely, beautiful research team, Courtney and Caitlin. This is radio, guys. Doesn't matter what we look like.
We're in our pajamas.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
We're in our pajamas.
Kidding.
It's Sunday morning. Good morning.
You could have included me in the lovely and beautiful part.
Tim, you are lovely and
Thank you,
beautiful
thank
this
you.
morning.
And, of course, our wonderful producers, Derek and Jimmy. Good morning, guys.
Hello.
Audience, we are interested in your ideas and some of the situations that might have been happening to you with regarding social media in your relationship. We're specifically talking and looking into Facebook and jealousy that comes into relationships from carrying on some social media. Give us a call at 803-1520 with any of your Facebook or social media mishaps, or visit our website at creativerelationshipcenter.com. Or you can go to our Facebook at facebook.com/Creative Relationship Center, where we have some of our questions posted, and Courtney is standing by looking at that. Facebook, how does it breed jealousy? I think probably one of the first things we should start out with is maybe talking about where Facebook came from. How it started is certainly not what it turned into.
Exactly.
And I know there's some history there that maybe people aren't aware of that perhaps we should talk about. And I think we were talking this morning, Tim, about Facebook.
Well, they made a movie about how it was started.
Right, the social
Mark
network.
Zuckerberg, right, exactly. You know, there were a couple of twins at Harvard that were students and were paid by Zuckerberg to come up with this idea, and then it ended up in a lawsuit. They sued him, collected, I think, quite a bit, and when he took it as his own idea and ran with it.
It was originally just a college student communication
social
network.
Yeah,
though.
just on
it had
campus.
actually a very specific group it was targeted towards, and obviously
Exactly.
that's changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Well,
you no
it-
longer have to go to Harvard to use Facebook.
No,
Right.
no.
And I think it was meant for more nobler purposes than what it has degraded into.
That would
as
have to be
well.
true.
Oh,
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
My understanding was when I don't remember if it was my first one or second one when they started college, but this was the way in which they could get to know other students so they didn't
Yeah.
feel so alone.
Isolated, right? It was
Right.
meant to actually bring people together in a very positive way.
It was.
Yeah, when my first year in college, that was like when Facebook itself, as opposed to MySpace, was just being hot. And like when you got into your dorm, you went all the way down the hall and added everyone on the hall in the dorm to your
Right.
Facebook list, so you could communicate all the parties and stuff like that, and study dates, of course.
So really a
Study
way
dates,
to,
yeah.
of course,
We lead it
Study
off with the
dates.
parties, but of course it's study dates.
Yeah.
really a way to expedite that getting to meet people, which has always been an issue when you go away from home, and kids tend to be lonely the first year away from school. They're not with their friends. They're a little bit more isolated and try to avoid some of that. But do you think that the Facebook has, originally I don't think that's what it was meant for, but it may actually create sometimes a little bit more isolation?
Yeah, I think the irony of it is that it, on the one hand, makes more people available than were ever readily available. And on the other hand, it can really destroy relationships because it allows people to be someone they're not. It allows people to hide information.
Pretend to be
there's sort of-
available when they're
yeah, there's sort of a
actually
strange
not
irony in it,
available.
isn't there? That it's supposed to bring people together and create more opportunities for relationships, but in fact, it creates a lot of opportunities for destruction.
Sure does. Well,
Yes,
people
it
can
does.
misrepresent not only their marital status, but their age, their sex, their locations, everything is
And then there's
up
the
for
different
grabs.
kind of statuses as well. It's complicated, and they can create their own kind of status.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
complicated.
Oh, it's
Complicated
not
is a
relationship
relationship.
Oh, that's
Let's
great.
talk about about some of that
Wouldn't
because
you like to see that from your significant other?
because
on
I don't
Facebook?
think that maybe a lot of our audience is aware of all of the statuses that are out there. I think that there's a certain generation
All right.
that this is geared for that recognizes how to manipulate this. For instance, my business is on Facebook. And I have stayed off of Facebook for a long time. I'm on it now, so I can kind of keep track of what my kids are doing. Because my college students and those that live away are on there, but I will have an exorbitant amount of people who want to friend me, and it's been 6 months since I was on the last time. So I only go on for business purposes. But they are on a lot. And they know how to maneuver around there. I know how to click on and click off. So maybe you could talk a little bit about what those statuses are, what that means in those profiles so that people are aware of what's going on.
There's that. Actually, you'd be surprised how many adults are doing just exactly what you're doing, trying to keep track of their kids, and then they themselves are getting sucked in. My mom is a Facebook stalker. She doesn't actually have anything
Is
on.
she listening today?
No, she's at some Corvette thing. But she goes on. She doesn't actually do anything about herself. She's like you, but she watches, and if she sees a status, she calls me. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? What do you mean? What did I do?
What are you talking
Are
about?
you feeling okay? If I change the status, to it's
Well,
complicated.
can you
What
talk
are
about
the various status?
I can let me
choices?
tell you
Yeah,
right
let's
now.
bring it up. I know there's in a relationship, married. I think there's civil union. It's complicated.
In a relationship, but sometimes people put in a relationship with their girlfriends just to
Like girls with their girlfriends.
like not girlfriends, but like their buddies.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're married. They put married to their their best friend.
But I actually think now it says like civil union. If it's like a girl and a girl, it actually says civil union instead of
Yeah.
married.
It depends on how you do it. There's lots of freedom.
Oh, there's so much.
There is so much freedom with that you can. Let me just.
I don't know why we need that much, to be frankly honest. But
Because people like to mess
Well,
around. But I
How
mean,
about just single or taken?
yes,
that's
that would be very
well,
simple,
single,
wouldn't it? Wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Life
Well,
would be
how about
simple.
we're
Like, those
missing?
are really
We're
the only
leaving
two
out
options.
the people who don't specify at all
Well, see, and
because they
there's a-
don't want people.
Are you
to know.
allowed to
Yeah.
not specify?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can just leave it out.
And
Oh,
I
okay.
actually have a friend. This is funny. She confused a whole lot of people, myself included, by putting that she was in a relationship, but she really wasn't. She just didn't want to be. She just didn't want anyone to ask her out. And here I am calling her saying, "Oh, you're in a relationship. Who is he? Who is he?" She's like, "Oh, I just didn't want people asking me any questions."
yeah.
I
now she's
just-
gonna get more questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
and
I
it
just
can
read a
be-
term the other day. If there's a term for someone who changes their Facebook status constantly.
Huh.
Do you know what it is?
I'll find out.
Yeah.
Confused?
Well, that would be it.
Confused is actually you can actually that's
Oh, that is one of the
look
status
confused.
choices,
That would be
isn't
the
it?
general population.
Actually, when you post an update, not necessarily a status, you can actually add an emotion to what you're feeling now, an emoticon, and it says,
good.
"I'm feeling confused," or "I'm feeling sad," or "I'm feeling
Agitated or angry.
Put unmarried but unfaithful as your status. You can.
Well, okay. Here, here's a question. I have a
does that
question.
look?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between having a Facebook page and being in a committed relationship, married or otherwise, and not saying that explicitly, and being married and not wearing a ring?
That means you're not faithful.
Is there a difference?
Is
Well,
there
yeah,
is there
I
a
think
difference
there is a
between
difference.
saying you're not married on Facebook or not wearing
it
the
depends
ring?
on if the person's just not savvy and he forgot, and then that causes the jealousy or the problems. Like, honey, why aren't you saying you're married? Like, and it's just
Good
a man,
question.
and it's just a man forgetting to
Because it's
update.
it's really more about personal responsibility. I think it has to do with how somebody acts. A wedding ring is a symbol that we are connected, and it's kind of out there that you're telling everybody. But does that mean if you're, pregnant and your fingers are swollen, you can't wear your ring, that you're no longer married because you took the ring
I mean
off?
intentionally.
It's the same.
See, this
Okay,
is
but-
another thing, though. But women, for one thing, but Prince William doesn't wear a ring on principle. He doesn't wear a wedding ring.
Well, and because it is a symbol, and it also is a symbol that's probably, I don't know, maybe the last couple of centuries, and it was only women who wore the rings, not the men. So that is more symbolic. But when you're throwing this up on Facebook, which is for everyone to see and everyone to pay attention to, I think it creates a very different illusion. And I think that's one of the things about Facebook that we are seeing, is that it creates illusions. We were talking before the show about the profile that you can set up that is maybe very different than how you might act. You might not really know me. So, for instance, if I pass myself off as a child expert and then I'm screaming at my kids, nobody sees that.
Right.
And I'm not going to get on Facebook and make that announcement. So they get to see the nice part of me, the good part of me all the time, not the real part of me. And that real status is the part that makes us human, and that keeps us from being you can still be an expert on information, but, who's an expert in life?
Right, exactly.
I actually have all the possible relationship statuses. It's single, in a relationship, engaged, married. It's complicated, in an open relationship, widowed, separated, divorced, in a civil union, in a domestic partnership. Those are all the, and then if you're not,
I'd have to pick confused at that point because there's too many choices.
There are a lot of
and
choices.
if
Go to
you
Walden
don't fit
Galleria.
into one of those, you can add your own.
Wow.
What's left? Menage a
That's
trois?
a good question. There you go.
Multiple partners? Yeah, I don't know.
Looking for trouble,
Well, okay, but
Swinger.
Rock on, Jim.
Okay, well, I do think that there's obviously there are problems that are created from some of the Facebook. And we're going to come back and talk about what some of those problems are, and also how to be able to maneuver your way around Facebook if you absolutely insist on being on while you're in an intimate relationship. We will be right back. Do you fight about the same things over and over? Have you thought about calling it quits? Do you need help handling a new relationship, a marriage, or just need some support getting through the stress of life without losing your marriage or your mind? Hi, it's Wendy Pegan, founder of Creative Relationship Center. Sometimes life gets out of hand, and having some support and guidance makes sense. At Creative Relationship Center, we believe that the couple is the core of every family. When we help you strengthen yourself as a couple, your children naturally make healthier choices. We offer counseling, relationship coaching, couples retreats, even classes at our new couples college. And if we can't help you stay together, we'll mediate your divorce in the privacy of our offices without expensive attorneys or court. For more information on our services, visit us at creativerelationshipcenter.com. That's creativerelationshipcenter.com. We'll keep you strong for generations to come.
Do you need help planning your retirement? Is your household budget something you just don't want to look at? Then maybe it's time to make an appointment with the Financial Planning Center to develop a personalized professional financial plan. The Financial Planning Center can help with financial goals and budgets of any size. If you're a middle-class investor, you will be especially happy because there are no account minimums and they take no commissions on investments. And if that's not enough, your first visit to the Financial Planning Center is absolutely free. Call 240-4304 today. That's 240-4304 for the Financial Planning Center.
When it comes to matrimonial and family law, you want solutions, not conflict. That's why so many Western New Yorkers turn to Christina Lana Shine, because litigation can be financially and emotionally exhausting. Options such as mediation or a collaborative process can often be the best way to work through your legal dispute. As an attorney trained in mediation, Christina Lana Shine can not only provide the mediation services, but can also convert your agreement into a legally binding contract. Let Christina Lana Shine put her 25 years of experience to work for you. Call 631-4841 for Christina Lana Shine Esquire on Main Street, Williamsville. You're listening to All About Love with Wendy Pegan. Call now, 803-1520. That's 803-1520.
Hi, everyone. We're back with All About Love, and we're here talking about jealousy and social media. Please call in with your questions or comments if you've had any experience with Facebook or relationships that have done well or broken apart due to Facebook. You can reach us at 803-1520 or go on to our Facebook account at facebook.com/Creative Relationship Center. We're talking about jealousy, and when we left, we were talking about some of the statuses that are on Facebook and all the different things that people can change in the settings. And I'm not too familiar with all of those, but what I am familiar with are couples who come in for marriage or couples counseling, and they're having a really rough time because one of the partners spends an awful lot of time on Facebook, and interestingly enough, maybe more time on Facebook connecting and reconnecting with people that, we at one time that we might not have connected with unless we had a school reunion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you're able to connect with these people all the time. And a lot of those reconnections, like the high school flames,
The one that got away.
Ex-girlfriends,
one that
yeah.
got away, the unrequited love. Somebody is in having a rough time with their relationship, so they reach out to you. In fact, I've had that happen with couples where they really were not expecting or wanting to be in another relationship or cheating, and then somebody approached them, and whammo.
They were in that vulnerable place
They were
in
in a
their
vulnerable
own
place.
relationship, right? And I think, this kind of plays into something we talked about in an earlier show, where in your real life relationship, the person you're with sees every aspect of who you are. You're in day to day together. You're slinging through the mud together. There's good days. There's bad days, right? There's days you love each other. There's days you hate each other.
And there's days it's boring.
And there's days it's just damn boring.
Yep,
You're
I like
absolutely
those.
right.
Yep.
It's just it's all about sweeping the floor and
you
who
love
took the
it,
kid
yeah.
to the right. It's boring. It's boring. And so the Facebook opportunity allows you to go on and sort of recapture that exciting part of yourself,
Yep.
or hide that part of yourself that isn't so pretty,
Right.
right? And it's a way of escaping reality.
Or
Very easily.
creating an
Or creating a false
a
reality.
prettier
Right,
version of
right.
yourself.
Absolutely. Or the
You were relating this to how a week or so ago we were talking about how that can lead to an affair where
Yes,
people are looking at only
yes,
the pretty part
because
of
you
a
can
person.
present yourself as something different.
Right.
A person who doesn't really know every part of you, the good, the bad, and the right, and the ugly.
yeah.
Or sometimes if you were in a relationship that is not, I don't think this is the case most of the time, but if you're in a relationship that is not healthy,
Yes.
it can recreate for you the understanding of who you once were.
Yes.
When you first got into
That's
that
a good point.
relationship.
That's a good
so
point.
in that sense, though, you have to do something more with it than just be on Facebook.
Right.
There's also the problem of unintended consequences when, say, someone that you may have been with, but you want to be friends with, and your significant other, sees this, and you're literally just saying, "Honey, she's just a friend," and then there's assumptions made because she sees all this, interaction, and you actually are being faithful, and there's nothing more to it, but you just. People are
creative.
curious
Right.
and create problems where there are none.
Well, there's also, I liked that unintended consequences because one of the other things that can happen, and I have seen happen with people, is what I was stating earlier, is that there wasn't that intent to do that, but that friend, usually the opposite sex or somebody that you might be sexually interested in if you're gay, is having problems, and you're being the shoulder for them to
Yep.
cry on. Why do I need a counselor? I have a friend.
I
Well,
have because
You know what? Sometimes that
Friend
doesn't
has our
turn
too.
into a relationship. Sometimes that turns into like a stalker situation where
Oh,
you can't
yeah.
get
Right.
these people. That's why I turn my chat off. I don't want any of these people because they'll come to you and they'll stalking is another problem with social media. It's not just
Oh,
jealousy
yeah.
in relationships.
Yes.
Like you get people that think they're in relationships with
Absolutely.
you just because you've talked to them.
Talked to them a
That's a
few
good
times
point,
and you're
yeah.
friend with them.
Tell me, I'd like to hear more about this, and if you could kind of describe, everybody seems to understand catfishing. That was something that I was surprised to hear from my 11-year-old, no less, at dinner last night. So maybe you could describe that a little bit to the audience. I know there's a television program out
Yes,
there
there
that relates
is.
to that.
Yeah.
Because I could see that turning into a really bad stalking situation.
Good.
Oh yeah, it absolutely
what is
can.
that?
Lethal too if people take it to the next level.
Well, isn't it
Yeah.
identity theft of some sort? And that's what it sounds
Not
like.
even
Basically.
there,
That-
but
yeah.
if people take it seriously, I mean, people can end up killed. I mean,
Well, what other way is there than take it seriously? What tell
Well,
me.
take it seriously in that once they find out, they're really ticked off and they want revenge, as opposed to just oh my God, he loves me and she.
Well,
Loves
there's a
Yeah.
couple of ways, as I understand it, catfishing can happen. One is, and this has occurred on the show, they've showed these examples where someone actually steals another person's identity and uses that person's profile photos.
The photos.
So
the
in that
name,
case, it's a true
everything.
identity theft where they are using somebody else's real information and picture and pretending to be them.
Well, this
But
is
then-
where people are
Yes.
not careful enough with things like Facebook because they don't understand that all of that stuff is out there permanently.
Yeah.
Right.
Can be used in ways they didn't intend.
Well, I imagine they could be arrested at some point in time if
And
somebody
that's-
presses charges.
unless it's
Yeah.
public records and stuff like that, and they just they've just. I mean, it happens when you go Google image searching for instance, I want hot woman, and you just find someone and you say, okay, that's my avatar. Well, you don't even necessarily realize that you're stealing someone's identity because they've put themselves on the internet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's lots of the.
What I
internet.
find frightening are the cases, and there have been actual cases where someone's been killed, where an older parent, like a mother who's single, divorced, lonely, uses her teenage daughter's profile photo
to pick up guys.
and pretends to be her daughter.
Oh, wow.
That's actually happened.
That was the Catfish
Yeah.
movie, actually.
Yeah, and then there's the one where she created a fake account to be a boy. And
Oh,
got
yeah,
this-
and she
then
was
got
going
the
through
girl, and this girl was so in
transgender,
love
right?
with this boy she
So
met over
sad.
Facebook, and then all of a sudden he dumped her. I hate you. You're an evil person.
Oh, yeah.
And she didn't know what to do. She had switched schools because she had been bullied. I mean,
Girl
it's
that hanged herself.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
There was actually another case that they had it in a Lifetime movie, but it was a true story of a woman who took her daughter's profile photo, pretended to be her, had a romantic relationship, however you want to call it, over Facebook with this pretend image. He actually murdered his wife to be with who he thought
younger-
was the young daughter, and then met the real person who was the mother.
I mean, there's also another movie called Megan is Missing. I highly don't recommend it. It's about a girl that she accidentally found some webcam. It wasn't just MySpace. It was like video chat. It's similar to Catfish, but she ended up dead in that movie too because she set up a date. She was a young teenager.
So there's some real issues that can
Danger.
some real dangerous issues. that can go-
Absolutely.
And this kind of goes along with too, just to kind of move us aside a little bit, is the fact that this can be very addictive. I'm starting to see people who are addicted just like any other addiction,
Absolutely.
cocaine, alcohol, gambling. It can be very addictive. I've had couples who've said she's spending more time on Facebook than she's spending with me.
Yep.
So that quality time, well, whose quality time are you spending?
Right.
And I would imagine that there are certain personalities who are more geared towards some of these things than others, such as not just spending the time on, but responding to every single posting that's put on. You'll see some
That's
people
annoying.
who do that.
Go
Well,
through and like every post that you do.
usually that's an indication that there's a relationship that is beginning.
Or want to be.
Or
Yeah.
want
Yeah,
to.
wanting to
Correct.
be.
Yeah.
Like
Correct.
stalking
I'm
again.
not.
Yeah,
It sounds
Yeah.
like the beginning of a stalker.
Well, I mean, I think there are two separate issues, not that they don't come together, but internet addiction. There's a whole literature on internet addiction.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook, it has games. So, I mean, this wife could think that her husband's spending all the time on Facebook and he's playing Candy Crush.
Right.
Like,
But there's internet addiction, which I think is one thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the use of Facebook to create relationships that are specifically romantically oriented and could cause jealousy in an existing relation. They're not necessarily the same issue.
So, can we talk about some of the personalities that might be more geared towards Facebook, or at least more geared towards Facebook addiction, and also towards the relationships developing from Facebook? Because I do think that as I was reading some of the research, I thought that we were talking about is kind of interesting. For one thing, women and men both approach relationships in general different, and then Facebook is just an addition to that, where women seem to be more upset if a man is having an emotional relationship. Not that they're not upset about the sex, then they just usually whatever. I'm not gonna say it on the air, but with a man it's more a sexual encounter. They're more upset about the sexual encounter.
Yeah, I mean, there is quite a lot of literature on women being more concerned about emotional infidelity and men being more concerned about sexual infidelity. And if you think about Facebook allows for a strong emotional attachment long before any physicality could occur. I mean, people have had Facebook relationships for months, years before they've even met the person.
Sure.
the opposite is true too, though. Like, you can have I guess, what am I looking for? Like the facade of an emotional relationship, but really you don't give
Absolutely.
Oh,
give
yeah.
a damn
Absolutely.
about.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that is the larger number of people. I think the larger number of people are really looking for an attachment in a way that they may not have been able to attach in other areas of their life or in their intimate relationships. And they're looking for something that they're not getting from their own intimate relationship. And I'm not talking about the people who kind of got sucked into my friend is having a bad life or having a bad time and I want to be there for them, and then all of a sudden I find myself falling in love with them. Yeah, that can happen. That can certainly happen. But I'm talking about the people who are maybe really trying to have connections in a way. Maybe they're shy, maybe they can't do this face to face, or they don't have they're socially awkward, but maybe they're great writers.
Well, it's interesting. I recently, I won't say who to protect the person's, confidentiality, keep my confidentiality, but I recently had a conversation with someone who said something very interesting to me. The person said she didn't have any friends, but yet has a ridiculous amount of Facebook friends. And I find that really interesting when people make that comment, that in real life, they don't have friends.
I say that
but
all
they
the
have
time.
a bunch on Facebook. So I think that plays into, though, what you're saying, Wendy, that in real life, there's something that prohibits that person from making in real life connections with people in real time, face to face.
I mean,
but
the
on Facebook,
introverts-
they can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. So, I think there's a lot to be said for the difference between introverts and extroverts. But I would say, as a professional woman with children and a business and et cetera, I would say that immediately I think of, a lot of times I text. I'm not a
do too.
Facebook person, but I text only because I have one thing to say and I don't want to get into the whole conversation. And especially people like you and I, Denise, will start going in a million different
I know,
directions.
I
And what
know.
we originally called to say, we'll never even get out.
Yeah, we'll never even get
So
there.
we'll be texting each other afterwards. So I think sometimes there's definitely less energy that goes into developing Facebook relationships, that goes into developing close-knit relationships like lifetime friends that people have had over the years.
Can I just ask, are we going to discern from Facebook and other social media, such as I consider eHarmony, dating sites, and like that? That seems to be more of the places where people would go to create these sort of things. Facebook, I think, is a different sort of beast. I think this is where unintended stuff happens. Whereas eHarmony, Zoosk, whatever, all of those dating sites, that's where the facades go up and the fake relationships happen, because you can do the same thing. You can do the profile creation and all of that. Whereas Facebook is a little different. I mean, you have to have people, before they add you as a friend, some people won't add you if they don't know you. And if you don't have a common friend, a lot of people are hesitant to even add you. They say, no, I don't know this person, and it blocks them from ever asking.
Yeah, and that's the majority of people
But
on Facebook,
can I
I
just
feel.
make a comment about unintended? See, I don't believe that there is such a thing when it comes to Facebook relationships, okay? If I'm in a committed relationship, married or otherwise, but I'm in a committed relationship, I know that if the guy that I was with in college starts to try to friend me, I know if I friend him, it's going to make my current relationship, make my boyfriend upset and feel uncomfortable. I can easily say no. So I always kind of cringe when people say, oh, I know I was tagged in a photo with my ex. Or, we're back to it just happened. I always kind of cringe when people say, oh, yes, I was out with my ex, but the photo is misleading. Nothing. Because why were you out with your ex without your current?
Because you can be friends. You can be friends. I'm friends with lots of exes and their photos. And my husband.
And
maybe.
I don't know if it's so important, though, to have to put those pictures out there.
Right. Why do you need to
Obviously,
do that?
if I put a picture of myself and my friend, whoever that male friend is, on Facebook, and then my partner sees that, obviously they're going to be upset. And I, first of all, I should know that they would be upset. And secondly,
That's my
they
point.
should know who that person is in that photo.
I was just, but are you not allowed to have other male friends where you can go out and have a drink and have fun and then post the picture because they have a Facebook too? Or
Well, I
that's
think
a trust issue.
Yeah,
See, I wouldn't. I see that. I think
I-
that's where. I think also that's where. This is where I'm gonna make myself feel really old. But I think that might be where generational differences come into
Yeah.
play. Because, like, I know with my boyfriend and I, we wouldn't go out with opposite sex people and drink and party without each other because it creates a perception.
It does.
It's not that we don't trust each other,
Especially with alcohol.
It's that it creates a perception.
Absolutely.
And an opportunity. And so, just out of respect for, I know I wouldn't do anything, but
Mm-hmm.
out of respect for him, I don't want to be seen in that capacity where people would say, hey, I saw Dee out last night with this guy and they were pretty wasted. Because it just creates a
I would never
disrespectful
put a wasted
perception.
photo of myself online. But I mean, if, say you were out with a group of old friends or something and your ex-boyfriend was there or whatever, I mean, is that different? I mean, do we have different levels?
Yes.
Running into
Yeah,
something
that's
is
different.
very
Different, but
from
it is
both
different.
of the
But I
It's a
think with
group instead of
Facebook-
one-on-one.
But with Facebook, you always have the control about what to post and what not to post and who to friend and not to friend. So I guess that's my point.
Well, then there's also the problem when someone else tags you in their
True.
picture.
But then you
and
can always
didn't put
untag
it-
yourself.
You can untag yourself.
Yeah,
Right,
but I mean, sometimes someone sees it before you get the chance, and then you're screwed.
Right.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we will be right back.
When it comes to matrimonial and family law, you want solutions, not conflict. That's why so many Western New Yorkers turn to Christina Lana Shine, because litigation can be financially and emotionally exhausting. Options such as mediation or a collaborative process can often be the best way to work through your legal dispute. As an attorney trained in mediation, Christina Lana Shine can not only provide the mediation services, but can also convert your agreement into a legally binding contract. Let Christina Lana Shine put her 25 years of experience to work for you. Call 631-4841 for Christina Lana Shine Esquire on Main Street, Williamsville.
Hi, this is Wendy Pegan, host of All About Love here on KB Radio and founder of Creative Relationship Center. If you've been thinking to yourself, he's changed, or she's not as loving as she used to be to me, or we don't have anything in common anymore, then consider making an appointment at Creative Relationship Center. At Creative Relationship Center, we have an association of professionals in the fields of counseling, legal, and financial planning. We offer couples counseling, coaching, mediation, workshops, and classes for adults at all levels of commitment, from pre-marriage through post-marriage. Creative Relationship Center can help your family stay together. Or if you've already decided to separate, we can help mediate your differences civilly without the major expense of attorneys or stress of going to court. Consider having the relationship you've always wanted. Consider Creative Relationship Center. To learn more about our couples college, couples retreats, divorce mediation, and many other services available, go to creativerelationshipcenter.com. That's creativerelationshipcenter.com.
Do you need help planning your retirement? Is your household budget something you just don't want to look at? Then maybe it's time to make an appointment with the Financial Planning Center to develop a personalized professional financial plan. The Financial Planning Center can help with financial goals and budgets of any size. If you're a middle-class investor, you will be especially happy because there are no account minimums and they take no commissions on investments. And if that's not enough, your first visit to the Financial Planning Center is absolutely free. Call 240-4304 today. That's 240-4304 for the Financial Planning Center.
You're listening to All About Love with Wendy Pegan. Call now, 803-1520. That's 803-1520.
Hi, we're back with All About Love, and today we're talking about jealousy and social media. And Courtney, you had mentioned earlier that there was a difference between, you felt there was a difference between Facebook, which is reconnecting with people, and some of the other social medias that are out there, which is the online dating. And I agree. We've talked about online dating, and this is probably a good place to just kind of insert that as well, is that online dating is purposeful. I think it's purposeful. You're going on to specifically meet people. And to see if there's, can you have likes and see if there's a relationship that can be built. Where on Facebook, it's a different situation. And on Facebook, there's also an intention.
Yes.
And the intention is supposedly or originally started to reach out for friends, to have connections with other people, maybe old friends, college, high school, etc., but just a way of not feeling so isolated. But unfortunately, it has turned into a lot of problems with relationships that have broken up. Excuse me, from having maybe gone outside the boundaries of the actual relationship that you have. And of course, one of the things that we didn't mention yet is that this is available 24 hours a day, which is very different than most relationships. Most relationships wouldn't consider calling their friends at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And one of the other things we haven't talked about either is that sense of impulsivity. So what do you think happens with maybe more impulsive people? We all know the line, it's public and permanent out there. And for the younger generation, and even, all generations, is that if you are an impulsive person, you're putting something out there, it's out there permanently. So
I think as Courtney said, a lot of people, well, not a lot, but some people feel compelled to respond and comment on everything. And maybe stalking is part of that. Maybe I do think that where you talk about people being isolated and this just gives them a way to reconnect, it seems to me possible that the most isolated people are the ones who would spend the most time on this.
Also, though, sometimes when people say you get in a fight with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or significant other, and then you automatically go online and you change your status really quick.
It's complicated after one fight.
Or you even post a status, which is even worse, like a Facebook status saying "fighting with my spouse right now, not a good time."
Right.
And but that starts another fight because then you put all of that business on there,
and then all your friends now know about it, and they have a list of comments and say, "Oh, dump."
They take sides.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's more women that do that than males?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But then again, the research shows women spend more time on Facebook than males overall. So in general, they're on it more.
But is that not also true that women spend more time in relationships than men do? Or at least
They certainly
in
probably
larger
spend
amounts?
more time, I don't want to use the word obsessing, but ruminating about them, I think, than men do. I always get frustrated when my boyfriend and I have a fight. I'll be up all night upset about it, and he's asleep within 2 seconds. So while he's snoring, I'm sitting there stewing over what just happened, and he's out.
Planning your next attack.
Yeah, he's out. And I'm like, I can't believe he can sleep after what just happened. So I think women have a tendency to ruminate more about relationships, and then they might be more likely to go on Facebook and I'm fighting with my ex and getting that out there.
And then you regret it later, and
and by that time it's too late.
I think I also need to make a distinction between impulsivity and also wanting to talk. And Deborah Tanyan suggests in her book, which of course just eludes me right now. Look up Deborah Tanyan there, please. He said, she said, where she says that the talk is the glue that holds relationships together for women. So when a man might be done talking about something, or in his head it's over.
It's not.
Never over.
Not for the woman.
No.
And I'll hear not only in my own life, but my female friends will say, he's always saying that I can't let something go and keep bringing it up again. And what she will say, and I say it myself, is because we never get to closure when we start talking about it, because you want to stop talking before we're done.
Yeah.
Or what if he doesn't talk at all? You're talking,
or at all.
and he just sits there,
or
and
at all,
he
sits there and listens,
and
and
he's
you get nowhere.
listening to you, and he's like, "Oh, I thought we were done," and I'm like, "But you didn't even say anything."
Yeah, how are we done? You didn't even contribute to the communication.
Or you hear something like, how can you eat while we're still talking?
And I think the magic answer to that is that what women need to hear, and this is why you'll see more females in counseling. This is why you'll see more females on Facebook. This is why you see more females going out with herds of her friends, as opposed to, and this is where you also see females leaving their intimate relationship because what they're looking for is someone to not just listen to what they're saying, but hear them and be able to respond to what it is that they're feeling. Where your girlfriend will say to you, I know exactly how you're feeling. It's
And validate. I think women are looking for validation.
Absolutely looking for
Or
validation.
when I go out with my girlfriends, and then we go on Facebook, and they say, "Oh, I had an awesome night with," and they tag you, and they tag all their other friends. And I mean, my boyfriend, we go out all the time. He's never said anything about me on Facebook. It happened once the other night because we had just had a fight, and I think he was trying to suck up, and he's like out with my gal at a movie, and I'm like, yes, he recognized me on Facebook. That's legitimate.
But you know,
Yes, because it's not legit unless it's on Facebook.
I want to say something about, you know, the need to respond to everything and the need to put things out there for validation.
Yeah.
I think it's symptomatic of a much larger issue, which is as soon as reality TV, as we were talking about, as soon as reality TV became sort of the norm, now everything is newsworthy. You know, 20 years ago, people wouldn't even think about telling anybody that they were going to a movie. No, nobody cares.
Right.
Right now
Now they tweet it to you.
everything
Oh,
you
yes.
do is somehow newsworthy. And if you don't post it, then you take a personal affront. I can't believe you didn't post something about me that we just did.
Say that we were hanging out
issue
together.
that goes with that is that I don't know about you, but I don't want everyone to know where I am.
Neither do I.
Nor do I. Nor do I.
There are apps. You don't even have to tell people on statuses. There's an app that lets people know exactly
Yep.
where you are on
There
a
is.
map.
I hate that.
It
That's
shows
what-
you on
GPS
Facebook.
tracking app.
What do you think
Yeah.
about
Cars.
couples who are doing that with each other?
That's crazy.
I think
That's
there are
like
trust issues there, personally.
major
Might
trust
be.
issues.
Yeah.
But putting the tracer in the car is okay still.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
still
yeah,
okay.
that's
You put the
fine.
bug under the car.
Well, and then that brings up another point is with cell phones and texting. Oftentimes, I have found when couples have found that their intimate partner is cheating or developing an emotional relationship with somebody, they find that through their texting on their phones.
So they were looking at their
Absolutely.
other
Snooping
person's
through the
phone. Yeah,
phone,
snooping
the
through that.
emails, you know.
Usually,
That's
when
a
somebody
violation right there. That's
right, yes, that is true, but that's where we start getting into it's a violation. But what do you do if you're intuitive and you're
That's a
picking
good
up
word for it.
and you're picking up signs that somebody is no longer with you, and you're trying, and the other person's flat out denying it.
Oh, yes.
And in those situations, what do you do?
Well, I'll tell you what I do.
What do you do? Because I have no idea what I would do.
If I have no doubt in my mind because of the signs that someone is being dishonest with me and unfaithful, I will look for the information to validate it because I want to confront that person
Exactly.
with undeniable evidence that I know what's going on and that person needs to face it. You know, I think there's a difference between folks who are so insecure that without any evidence whatsoever, they nonetheless keep surveying their partner.
Yes.
And folks who have a legitimate reason, if they were to speak objectively to anybody, other people would agree that they have a legitimate concern. You know, and I think in those cases, it's sensible to me that somebody would look for information.
And not only is it sensible, I have clients ask me that. I just found this out, or I saw this text, or whatever, should I confront? And my answer is always yes.
Absolutely.
I would not worry about somebody saying, if there's a major concern that you're snooping into my stuff, then my response would be, well, these are the reasons that made me do this, because you know that this isn't part of my personality. So if this is coming up, and if they don't nip this in the bud and pretend that it's not there and stick their head in the sand and just hope it goes away, it's going to get worse.
It always gets worse. It never
It
goes
always
away.
gets worse. And that's actually comes back to the Facebook issue because the way that I look at it is if I have nothing to hide, I won't hide it. I don't care if you see who's posting on my page because I'm not doing anything disrespectful to the relationship. Correct. It's when people become very defensive.
Yes.
And
Yes.
say, why do you need to see my page? Don't you trust me? No, now I don't.
Now,
because,
because you're not open with
Why
me.
are you concerned?
So is this like Ronald Reagan's old advice, trust but verify? Is that
Yes. In fact, that's my motto.
We're going to take one more break, and we will be right back so we can talk about how to prevent jealousy and help you in the Facebook age. We'll be right back.
When it comes to matrimonial and family law, you want solutions, not conflict. That's why so many Western New Yorkers turn to Christina Lana Shine, because litigation can be be financially and emotionally exhausting. Options such as mediation or a collaborative process can often be the best way to work through your legal dispute. As an attorney trained in mediation, Christina Lana Shine can not only provide the mediation services, but can also convert your agreement into a legally binding contract. Let Christina Lana Shine put her 25 years of experience to work for you. Call 631-4841 for Christina Lana Shine Esquire on Main Street, Williamsville.
Do you need help planning your retirement? Is your household budget something you just don't want to look at? Then maybe it's time to make an appointment with the Financial Planning Center to develop a personalized professional financial plan. The Financial Planning Center can help with financial goals and budgets of any size. If you're a middle-class investor, you will be especially happy because there are no account minimums and they take no commissions on investments. And if that's not enough, your first visit to the Financial Planning Center is absolutely free. Call 240-4304 today. That's 240-4304 for the Financial Planning Center.
Do you fight about the same things over and over? Have you thought about calling it quits? Do you need help handling a new relationship, a marriage, or just need some support getting through the stress of life without losing your marriage or your mind? Hi, it's Wendy Pegan, founder of Creative Relationship Center. Sometimes life gets out of hand, and having some support and guidance makes sense. At Creative Relationship Center, we believe that the couple is the core of every family. When we help you strengthen yourself as a couple, your children naturally make healthier choices. We offer counseling, relationship coaching, couples retreats, even classes at our new couples college. And if we can't help you stay together, we'll mediate your divorce in the privacy of our offices without expensive attorneys or court. For more information on our services, visit us at creativerelationshipcenter.com. That's creativerelationshipcenter.com. We'll keep you strong for generations to come.
You're listening to All About Love with Wendy Pegan. Call now, 803-1520. That's 803-1520.
And we're back with social media and jealousy. Listeners, please call in and give us your Facebook or social media mishaps, or maybe even some of the things that have gone right for you. By the way, I have had a client who told me that they met. That is how they met.
Really?
And they met actually in a chat room a number of years ago when chat rooms were free. I think they might still be. I don't know. And they just really liked each other, and they ended up moving across country to be with one another. So there are some success stories that go along with that, and you can reach us at 803-1520. Let's spend some time. We all know that this can be problematic, Facebook and the problems that come from this and the jealousies and et cetera. But maybe we could spend some time with our listeners talking about how to prevent some of that jealousy, and what are some of the things that you might be able to do to avoid having these mishaps.
I think the most obvious one is you don't need to be friends on Facebook with ex-girlfriends and boyfriends, husbands and wives. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for it. The relationship ended for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I don't see why you need to have them as friends on Facebook, unless you're going to do it in the most respectful way, which is they're friends with both you and your partner.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And anything that transpires, that person is aware of. Yep. That's it. And
Yeah.
to me, it's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why people do it when they do it.
So unfriend your ex would be a good bit of advice.
I would say so.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important, too. You just made a comment about your partner being a part of this. I do think that in this, we have become we've become a society where we're much more independent than we used to be. We used to depend on each other as partners, but we're depending on people less and less. Mm-hmm. And those things that we are depending on them for, maybe more internal things than external things. So, I can dump you a little bit more easily because look at this plethora of friends that I have, or
Right.
this ocean. In fact, there is a site out there called Plenty of Fish.
Yes, there is.
Plenty
I
of
know
Fish.
somebody who's been on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Dad's on it.
And
Really?
people say that all the time. So we need to kind of make sure that our partner, who we dearly loved when we first got into the relationship with them, is part of the decision making as to who you're going to, either of you, who you're going to be friends with, who you're going to allow as part of your life, who the other person sees as a threat, even if you may not see them as a threat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I had a best friend in college a number of years ago who he and I ended up kind of breaking our relationship because he had gotten involved with a woman who I really did enjoy, but she did not enjoy me. So she wanted him to break off the relationship with he and I, and respectfully, I understood that completely, and
Absolutely.
we
Broke off
did.
a friendship because of a new relationship he was in.
Well, and
did.
it had just been a friendship, correct, on your part?
It had just been a friendship.
So
yeah.
she saw you as a threat.
Sure.
She saw me as a threat. Yes, she did.
Okay.
And and I think we maybe we should talk a little bit about what other people see as threats, because as I was reading over some of those studies, I found it interesting that males will see a threat. Again, going back to the sex thing, males will see any other male as a threat, but women will see only women that they think are more attractive than them.
Which, that's funny too, because actually,
If she's ugly, you can have her.
You can hang out with her. It's
but I
fine.
want to comment about that, because in a lot of the studies on infidelity, you will find that the males who cheated on their significant other actually admitted that the people they cheated with were not even as attractive as their current partner. It wasn't even about that.
Yeah.
So me personally, that doesn't necessarily make a difference, because I
Hugh
know a lot of
Grant.
time the cheating isn't about that as much as it's about
Right,
other
right.
things.
Hugh Grant and
So it's sort of
Elizabeth
an
Hurley.
unfounded fear on the
Yeah,
part of women.
yeah.
That's a big one.
I mean, exactly.
What was that?
Hugh Grant and Elizabeth Hurley.
Oh.
I mean, you can't cheat on anyone hotter tthan Elizabeth Hurley.
It's really not about Halle Berry
He
too.
did.
She was cheated on, but so it's
Why was that on Facebook?
no. Well, maybe it was. I'm not on Facebook, so I wouldn't know. But
News. That was.
but Wendy, I want to pick up on what you said. I like what you said about remembering you're part of a couple. I think in my parents' time, that's how everybody thought. You're
Yes.
part of a couple. When you're married or you're committed, you're part of a couple, and you no longer think like a single person. In today's culture, no matter how committed you are, married or otherwise, folks still think they have the right to act like they're single. And you don't if you want your relationship to last. So once you're part of a couple and you're on Facebook, you should be talking with your partner about who you're each comfortable with the other friending.
And I just saw something interesting here where it says 92% of Facebook users said their partner had friends they didn't know on Facebook.
I find that insane.
That is. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I
That's
have
insane.
300 friends my boyfriend doesn't know.
Well, there we go.
There you go. So you exemplify the statistic, yeah.
Well,
He
that
has
goes-
friends I don't know too. I mean, it's not but there's nothing there.
But that also gets into, which we're not going to talk about today, but that also gets into, is this relationship a committed relationship? And when it's a committed relationship, it's a couple relationship.
Right.
And when it's a couple relationship, not that you're tied at the hip, not that you don't do things
No,
with
but
your
the rules are
girlfriend.
different.
The rules
are
very
different.
different and very different, and they should be more explicit. But I think in today's day and age, they've become very convoluted.
They have.
Because we can just express ourselves any way we want on the internet, and nobody else is going to know.
Exactly.
And I would make the assumption that if I saw somebody out there and it looked to me very subtly as if they were kind of open themselves up to allowing other relationship to come in, that the relationship that they're in is either it's a secret,
Right.
and along with a secret is it's probably not a very good one, or they don't realize the ramifications that can come from that.
Absolutely. And for me, things are very cut and dried. I think if someone's acting suspicious, that person's hiding something. If I'm on Facebook and I don't want my husband, wife, girlfriend, or boyfriend to see my page, I'm doing something wrong. If I have a cell phone and I don't want my significant other to see my cell phone, my text, I'm doing something wrong.
Basically,
It's
what
really
you're
cut and
saying
dried
is
for me. It
people
really is.
who are right out there and really open, those are the only ones to trust.
Well, kind of. I mean, I just think when you're part of a couple that's supposed to be a serious, long-term, committed relationship, you're either sharing or you're not. And if you're not, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And you're doing things together, and that's important. Also, I just happened to note, and I'm going to state that it's when my son got married, he changed his everything on their Facebook, and now it's the picture of the two of them.
That's how it should be.
So that was awesome. Also, I just think improving your relation or your self-confidence and your own self-esteem is just as important. Well, thank you everybody for joining me today on All About Love, and we were talking about jealousy and social media. We hope you listeners came away with some new knowledge about how to help your relationship. I want to thank our sponsors, Lancaster Medical, and my guests, Dr. Denise Emmer, Tim Sobolewski, Courtney, and Caitlin. As always, Jimmy and Derek, thank you again for your help, and we will be back next week as we talk about multicultural relationships. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
You've been listening to All About Love with Wendy Pegan, relationship expert, mediator, and founder of the Creative Relationship Center, and sponsored by Lancaster Medical. Be sure to tune in next Sunday morning at 11 for more of All About Love on KB Radio 1520.